Hi there, this is John on the product and engineering team at Lead Sherpa. Today we're going to take 10 minutes to walk you through the Lead Sherpa platform. Whether you're wholesaling, flipping, or building a rental portfolio, Lead Sherpa will help you reduce your marketing costs, unglue you from hours of cold calling, and remain TCPA compliant, all while increasing your deal flow. So if you're new to the Lead Sherpa platform, you'll need to click on the register button, and that'll take you to this form, which you'll fill out. Once you're inside the system, you'll notice a few icons on the left. This first one is for running your SMS campaigns. This one here is for prop stack, which is used for list stacking. And this third option is for the skip trace system. Skip trace and prop stack currently do not require any type of subscription, although you will need to enter your billing information to perform a skip trace. So let's get started on skip tracing. I'm going to click on Get Started Now, and then enter my credit card information. So before we start skip tracing, one thing we'll want to do is split our lists into those who are LLCs or businesses and those who are individuals. The reason for this is to make it easier to push into targeted campaigns. So you'll notice on this list I have a label name which has a company when it's a company, or the complete name when there's a first and last name. So now that I've groomed my spreadsheet, the next thing I'm going to do is use the batch skip trace option in the system to run our skip trace. And then while we're here, we're going to make two additional tags, one for individuals, and then one more for businesses. So when you come in here, you can edit the tags, other parts in the system too, but when you come in here, we're going to do this first batch, and we're going to say it's both Trenton and individual. And then we're going to commence to upload the file. I have a small test file here. Now, you don't need to split up the spreadsheet. It will allow you to choose which of your sheets you want to use. So in my case, I've split it into people and businesses. I'm going to do the people list. I'm going to click continue. And in this next step, you're going to map the appropriate fields. So since this is people, we can have the label name go into custom one, but we know this is just the person's full name. Last name goes to last name, first name goes to first name. And then we have all of the address fields down here mapped appropriately. And when you're done, you'll hit review. That'll bring up the list. You can see the full name, last, first, and all the details. If we like that, we hit continue, and that'll get the upload going. So before we go to the next step, it'll show us how many records we're uploading, the estimated cost. This is using a feature called Suppress Against Database. If you already have records in the skip trace system, it will not charge you for them again unless you turn this flag off, at which time it will ignore any data in the database and get you fresh records. So we're going to click Start Skip Trace. And so once that's done, we can see we ran 30 rows, we had 30 hits, 100% hit rate, and so it charged us the full $4.50. So there's a couple steps we could do next. I'm going to run one more to do people and businesses, and then we'll go from there. So on the second upload, I'm choosing business and Trenton. This time I'm going to choose business from the list. Except when I upload this one, I definitely want label one to go to custom one, because when I submit this, you'll see custom one is where the company name exists. We don't want to put that in first name. You can, but it's preferential to put it in custom one so that you're not squatting on this field if it comes back with a first name for that record. So just a caution about uploading LLC data. I did two examples here to highlight both the power of our system, but also just some intricacies with it. In this first one, I uploaded no name, and you can see it came back with no hits. So it is important to use a business or individual name in one of the first or last name field. If you're providing a business name, definitely put it in the first name field as well as custom one, because it may be overwritten by the owner's name later on. In the second one, you can see I ran the business records, and it actually had an existing record from the individual hits. So that's showing where if we detect we've already looked it up for you, we will not charge you a second time. And now what I'm going to do is one more time, I'm going to upload that same file. I'm going to go in and I'm going to say Trenton and business. And then I'm going to upload that tab of the spreadsheet one more time to show you how it'll save you money. So when you're reviewing the business ones, you'll see I have the first name and the custom one, this being the business name. I want to have a copy of it here. However, we do need it in the first name field to have the best possible results. So because Suppress Against Database was turned on, you'll see we had 30 existing records and we did not charge you for any of the existing hits. So with that step complete, we can pivot over to PropStack briefly. And you can see here where there's 60 property records, 30 from each have populated, and then 1 prospect record. So of those properties and those companies, that means that they either A, they resolved, or B, they're still populating. In this case, they probably resigned to the same address or the same individual who owned them. So now that we've completed our skip traces, we can pivot over to PropStack, and you can see the property records here. Some of them have 3 tags because they were both on the business side. See, here's absentee coming in from the skip trace data. So this is business in Trenton, and then some of these ones down here might be individual in Trenton. I can then filter down to some of those tags, say individual in Trenton, say all, and now I can apply that filter. And then I can see just those 30 records. And this helps me cross-cut my data and produce the best list to push into my campaign in a future step. So with that complete, we're going to pivot over to the SMS system. We'll start with a core plan. You must have an EIN established prior to proceeding to the next step. So if you don't, you'll want to go sign up with the IRS. We provide a link here. Wait about 1 week and come back. It takes some time for that information to replicate to other systems. You'll acknowledge the 1 week wait period, and then you'll proceed to confirm your billing information. I have a card entered already, or I can update it, subscribe. So on this next step, it's going to prompt you for your 10DLC registration information. This is the information that you have registered with your company. It's very important that you provide accurate information here based on your last address and company name submitted with the IRS. So if you just established an EIN, use your EIN letter that you got from the IRS. If you've submitted taxes, probably your tax return from last year. So populate this information with full and accurate information, and then we'll proceed to the next step. So once you've submitted your 10DLC registration, you'll see this page comes up and it'll tell you whether it's being processed or it's approved. This typically comes back quickly, approved and verified. If it comes back unverified, you need to pause and reach out to support. At this point, you'll create a new market in one of the available area codes. It'll tell you that there's availability. We'll set up a call forwarding number. And that'll proceed to explain to you that your market is being created. Because of 10DLC, this can take a little bit of time. Typically, it takes 1 to 2 days. However, it can take up to 2 weeks. So we ask that you be patient, and if it takes more than 2 days, to please reach out to support and let us know. From there, you can proceed to set your company name. And this is the outgoing name that your company will represent. So you'll set it up as company in this case. And then you can either use the sender's first name or you can use a nickname. So maybe my name is John, but I want to go out as, Tom. I can say, hey, this is Tom from Test Company. Hit save. And now that takes you to create your first SMS template. So it's important that your SMS template announces who you are. The template name is not terribly important, although you can use them to help sort. We're going to do initial templates, and I'm going to say, hi, so-and-so. I was interested in your property at address. This is, user first name is me. Thanks for getting back to me. Then you can also set up an alternate message with just the company name in case any of this is missing. So once your templates are created, we can come back over to our campaigns. We've made our first market. We've set up our company name. We've got templates created. We can also set up a default alternate message. So this is important in the event that we don't have enough information. So now that that's done, when you come back here, you'll see it's time to make our first campaign. So I'm going to make an initial campaign to reach out to our Trenton folks. So I'm going to call this Trenton Individuals. And we already have our Alabama market set up. If I have Podio, I can set up a push email address here. I'm going to make myself the owner. Skip prospects who have previously responded, right? That just makes sure we don't try to send initial messages or follow-up messages to anyone who has already responded. I have a call forwarding number set up. If I have a Zapier and I want to have a zap go out for anything, I can do that here. And then finally, I can access control any individual users here. So I'll create my campaign. And you'll notice this says it's disabled until 10 DLC has been approved. So we'll come back when this is ready. So actually, while that market is coming online, I'll cover how we can push contacts into this new campaign. The first is that I can, from the campaign itself, I can add prospects. And in this case, just like the skip trace upload, I'm going to specify tags, and then I'm going to upload a compliant list to the system that I'll reach out to. If I use this mechanism, that would be a list you have already separately skip traced and you're pushing into the system, and it has good contact info for each of your prospects. It's completely allowable to do it this way, however, not the recommended approach. The other ways you can do this are, first, you could come over to Prop Stack, filter down to the list you want to push. So in my case, Trenton Individual, you'll see I have the 30 expected records. And from there, I can, select all, and then you can push these into an SMS campaign. So you would choose an existing campaign or new. We could create the campaign just in time, Trenton Individuals, include new or all prospects, and then assign tags for the fact that you're pushing it. So maybe the campaign has some additional characteristics you want to capture. You could apply these tags to those properties at that time. The other thing we can do is, if we come back to skip trace, I can take this skip trace list here and I can say push to SMS campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one for now. Trenton Individuals, include all prospects. I don't need any additional tags, so I'm going to push to campaign. And that'll kick off a background job that pushes them to the campaign. You can see that's done already. So as you can see, this is complete. Now, one thing to note is that I'm on our staging site. And so what that does is it mocks out all of the individuals who own a property as being the same person. So this actually went very quickly, because if I come over here to my campaign, I won't have any leads in it still. For simplicity, I'm going to go into that back to skip trace, and I'm going to push these over one more time from the business side. That is because this is where our prospect is still present. What happens is the system doesn't allow you to message the same person about multiple properties at the same time. So we're pushing this over, but because it assigned the same person to all of these results for testing purposes, we can only push it to the most recent person, which is in this campaign. So now if I go back over to my phone campaign, I should have one lead in there, and you'll see that one left. Now, normally, of course, that would be 60 leads or close to 60, because each of those addresses would have come back with a different contact phone number. In fact, you might have more prospects than properties, because you would have phone numbers for several individuals at the location. So now that that's done, we can send our first message, right? We're going to choose our template category, and that's going to format the message using our template. We confirm that that's the message we want to send. And so now that message is sent. And so from there, we can pivot over to our prospects and messages. We don't have a response yet, but we can see our initial messages sent, and eventually we'll get a response or not. and take action appropriately. One final note is that once you have received a response from someone, and it's some type of affirmation, you may send something back or set up a sequence to follow up with them at some point in the future. The ability to add them to the sequence would show up here on this view, and then you'll get reminders at the periodicity you specify so that you can follow up with your leads. So that's a quick overview of the system. I hope that helps you get started with us. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to our customer success team. Thank you so much and have a great day.